A specific crypto token is up double digits today, and the momentum is driven entirely by a single decision. The project changed its name to chase the artificial intelligence boom. Look at this massive volume acceleration. Market momentum can pivot in an instant, violently rerouting capital toward whatever sector holds the most speculative interest. Before today's surge, this asset was known as Story Protocol. It was built as a Layer 1 blockchain, a foundational network designed to process its own transactions and host decentralized applications from the ground up. And its original blueprint had absolutely nothing to do with artificial intelligence. The network was engineered specifically for traditional creators, artists, and musicians. In highly speculative markets, a radical rebranding serves as a pivot of necessity. When a protocol abandons its original identity, it's signaling a tactical shift toward a more liquid narrative in an attempt to capture new market interest. Story Protocol's initial utility was built around intellectual property. The goal was to let creators register their songs, images, and ideas directly onto the blockchain to establish indisputable ownership. This diagram shows the mechanics of that original vision. A creator node links their work to a smart contract, self-executing code that would automatically route licensing fees and royalty tokens back to the original artist whenever their material was used. The underlying logic was sound, but it ran into a structural wall. The traditional intellectual property market simply does not possess the aggressive, fast-moving capital required to sustain high blockchain valuations. That created a severe internal tension for the developers. They had engineered an elegant, functional licensing system, but they were starving for actual user adoption and the market attention that keeps these networks alive. A robust technological foundation ultimately means very little if it is pointed at a market that isn't desperate for a blockchain solution. To survive, the protocol had to find a new target with deep pockets and an urgent problem to solve. This scale of infrastructure is the reality of the artificial intelligence industry today. Training modern large language models requires massive server farms and immense computational resources. But hardware is only half the equation. Right now, the companies building these models are facing a severe bottleneck. They are rapidly running out of clean, legally traceable data to train their systems. For years, developers simply scraped unverified and copyrighted text, audio, and images directly from the web. Now they are facing mounting lawsuits and immense legal risk for using unauthorized material. This brings us to the catalyst behind today's price action. Story Protocol has completely rebranded itself as Data Network, pivoting to address this training data crisis. They aren't throwing away their old code. Instead, they are taking the exact same licensing technology originally built for indie musicians and aiming it squarely at the most resource-hungry industry on the planet. This new architecture uses smart contracts as a verification layer. Raw data is authenticated against ownership records before passing to the AI neural network. Every data packet carries a cryptographic stamp, maintaining an auditable trail for legal compliance. This high-speed, automated bulk data execution stands in sharp contrast to their original approach, which relied on painstakingly negotiating terms with individual artists and processing single tracks one by one. By making this switch, Data Network stripped away the slow mechanics of a passive creator registry and repositioned itself as an active pipeline for a highly demanded digital commodity. To measure whether this strategic maneuver is actually translating into financial value, we look at this financial dashboard to evaluate the metrics of the network's native token, now trading under the ticker symbol DATA. The asset currently has a circulating supply hovering between 360 and 400 million tokens, actively moving through the market. Looking at this ranking ladder, that supply puts its total market capitalization near $130 million. This places the DATA token squarely in the mid-tier range, fluctuating between the top 150 to 220 coins, depending on exchange volume. Aligning with the artificial intelligence sector guarantees high visibility, but sitting at a $130 million valuation means the token remains highly susceptible to explosive, unpredictable price swings. In the immediate short term, that volatility is pushing upward. The token is currently trading around 37 cents, rallying over 17% in the last 24 hours, and marking a 25% bounce off its recent pricing floor. But zooming out to this line chart reveals a much harsher long-term reality. Despite today's momentum, data is still down more than 97% from its historical all-time high of $14.78. The core question for any market participant is whether this sudden localized price action indicates the beginning of a genuine resurrection, or if it is merely a temporary pump fueled entirely by speculative hype. Ultimately, this asset represents an asymmetric, high-risk bet on the world's most aggressive technology sector. As always, this is not financial advice, and navigating these volatile conditions requires conducting your own strict research.